Hive. Okay, I was trying to decide what game to do next when I got an email on Board Game Geek from Jason, who said that he and his son have been watching my playthroughs and they like them and were interested in Hive and were wondering, since I owned it, if I would do a little walkthrough of it. And it was perfect timing because I thought, there you go, question answered, what to do next? Hive. Love this game, and I have to admit, I resisted buying it because of the theme. All right, it's bugs. It's these little tiles covered with bugs, and I am not a bug fan. So I passed this game by quite a bit because of the theme. All right. And how did I finally get it? I don't remember if it was a gift or if I finally, after seeing all the reviews, broke down and bought it. And okay, the bugs are a bit, you know, they do, you scurry around these little ants and spiders and such. And if you can get over that, it is a fun little game. My girls adore it. My youngest is some sort of Hive savant, and if she ever brings this little orange bag up to you and asks you to play, bring your A game, because that child will trounce you. Trounce you. Love this game. Story time. If you came for the game, I apologize. We're going to start with a story. My husband loves chess. He's a chess player, and he was always trying to get me to play chess. And honestly, I would play for about 20 minutes and then I would start to get bored. All right, chess is kind of, you know, a long-term game. And at about the 20-minute mark, I would start to do things like move a piece because it looked lonely or because I hadn't moved it in a while, and just start to goof around with it, right? And this would drive him batty because he would be setting up these elaborate, you know, trap moves, relying on the fact that I was going to do what was logical. And when I started just moving my pawns and bishops because the knight didn't like the bishop anymore, so I would separate them and just do really kooky stuff, he would just get mad at me and rage quit. And I find that Hive, for me, is the perfect chess, all right? All these pieces have individual movement powers. The games only last at most 5 or 10 minutes, and you're not burned out by the end of it. You want to set it up and play it again. You want a chance to beat that bratty little 8-year-old who just took you down for the 4th time in a row. So I thought I would go over sort of the big rules of Hive that apply to all the pieces. And then I will get my little savant player to the table here. I'll just leave it out and she'll challenge me. She always does. And we'll play through a quick game. They're all quick. And while we're playing, I'll explain how these pieces actually move. So there's sort of 2 sets of rules here. They're the base rules that pretty much all the pieces have to play by. And then during gameplay, I'll show you how these little buggies scatter about my table. I think that's the easiest way to see it, and it's the least boring way to see it. I have the pocket edition, so these are these fabulous little tiles. Thick, they remind me of mahjong tiles. They just feel great. They're the perfect size. And I would recommend the travel over the full size. Price, way cheaper. And size-wise, you know, this, I throw this in my suitcase all the time because it is such a small footprint of a game. I don't think you get anything from the bigger size aside from bigger pieces. And in this game, it plays just as well with these little tiny tokens. They're made of the same material. It's just beautiful. It's a beautiful little game. Just get over the bug thing. All right. So let me pull these out real quick and show you the base rules for the game. And we'll do a little playthrough and you can watch me get creamed. All right. So let me get in here and dig all these out. All right. Here are all of our tiles. It's black versus white. Now my little travel pack happened to come with 2 of the expansions, the Ladybug and the Mosquito expansion. There's also, I believe, a Pillbug expansion that I don't have. So for the intro game, go ahead and remove your Ladybug and your Mosquito. Just makes it a little easier to get your mind around, okay? The rest of the pieces are identical. You have the same number of bugs on each side. The point of the game, victory conditions, involve these two little queens. You are trying to completely surround your opponent's queen. If that happens, game over. Interestingly enough, it doesn't matter what color the tiles are that surround the queen. So for example, if this sad little queen were to get locked in like this, black would lose. Even though two of these pieces are their own, it doesn't matter. For Hive, when the queen is surrounded, the game is over. All right? Color piece, doesn't matter. So let's go over, I like to think of them as sort of the three basic rules of the game. And like I said, all these pieces have their own special moving power, but they all have to obey these three basic rules, okay? The first rule is, how do you get your bugs onto the playing field? At the start of the game, you each are allowed to pick one bug, and you put them basically nose to nose. All right? Opening move. Now, for the rest of the game, every time you would like to deploy a bug onto the hive, you must do so in a way so that your bug only touches your matching colored tile. Let me show you what I mean. I can deploy my spider here because he's only touching a white. Same with here, no problem. I cannot deploy my spider here, all right? Because he's touching my opponent's tile. Can't stick him over here either. So you must deploy your bugs into the hive in such a way that they're only touching friendly tiles. Okay? Once you deploy them, however, once they're in the hive, they are able to move, according to their abilities, anywhere they want. So my ant could now scoot over here once I deploy him to the board. Okay? And on a turn, you deploy or move, and then it goes to your opponent. So it would take me one turn to get my ant on the board. It would take me a second turn to be able to move him. All right? And the rule for this is pretty simple. Otherwise, this whole game would be deploy next to the queen, deploy next to the queen, deploy next to the queen, you know, game over. It wouldn't be a lot of strategy involved. So the reason for this rule, I think, is pretty evident. You must get your buggies on the field next to your own. Once they're there in the hive, you can move them wherever you like. Okay? Deploying, can't touch the other player. Second rule that you need to go over is that the hive must always be connected. All right? So if this is how it looks and I decide I want to move one of my beetles, say over here, I can't do that because I've stranded my ant. He's no longer connected to my hive. So I cannot move my beetle. I can move my ant. If I would like to move my beetle, I need to build another connection. So for example, if I do this, my beetle is now free to go where he pleases, and my ant is no longer stranded. All right? So when it comes time to move, the first rule is you must leave the hive connected. This is a wonderfully strategic rule because what it means is that you can lock a tile in place. For example, if I move my little ant there, this black bee is stuck. She can't move out and away. I've basically locked her down, and I can now begin to move my tiles to surround her. So this is a very nice strategic rule that you must keep your hive intact, all right? No stranding insects by moving the connecting pieces. Okay? So, it's the first movement rule. The second movement rule, and I think this is sort of the last one, there's only two of them, is that you must have the freedom to move. What does that mean? All right. This really comes up when, let's say, you're attacking this queen, things are looking bad, and the queen decides she wants to escape. She wants to move out on her one free side, right? She's only one block from loss. So she's going to push through here. Yeah, I can't do that, okay? Queen cannot do that because she doesn't have freedom of movement. How do you gauge that? You look at the opening and you see if your tile can pass through freely, all right? So this opening is narrower than the width of the tile. So she is, if you hold these still, she's locked in there, right? She can't make it out. There's not enough room. In this situation, no problem. If I lock these tiles down here, Queen Bee can slide right out. She doesn't strand anybody. She has freedom of movement. This little grasshopper here, if I lock these tiles down, he can't get out. He's locked in there. Luckily, he can jump, so he could jump out because that's his special ability. This freedom of movement only applies to tiles that slide along the surface of this table. All right? If you have a creature that moves on top of the hive or jumps over the hive, they're not restricted by this. This is only if you're trying to slide through an opening. You have to make sure you have freedom of movement. And the best way to check is to lock your tiles and see, can you get out? And if you lock your tiles and you can slide out, you have freedom of movement. Okay? All right, one last rule, and that is when these little queen bees must come out into play. Okay? And the rules state that the queens on each side must be placed on the board by your fourth turn. Okay? So you must get these queens out anytime between turns 1 through 4. So you could, if you wanted to, start the game with your queen. If not, you have, after your first one, 3 rounds to get her on the board. Okay? So you could start with this, and then a beetle, and then an ant, and then on turn 3, white might decide to bring out her queen, and black might decide to do another bug, an ant, 4th turn, the queen. Okay? The only sort of hiccup to this rule is that until your queen hits the table, until your queen joins the hive, you're not allowed to move any of your previously deployed bugs. So for example, if I was to bring out a ant, okay, and black brings out their queen, what I cannot do at this point is move my ant to nab their queen and lock her down. Can't do that because my queen is not on the table. Okay? If I want to move my ant, I'm going to have to bring in the queenie. And now ant's free to scurry wherever he wants. All right? So when you bring the queen out, you can wait until your 4th turn if you like, but until you do that, every other bug on the table has to remain where it is deployed. Okay? Bringing the queen out is what activates your bugs, and until she appears, your bugs are stationary. You have to get her out by your 4th turn, and that just speeds the game along. But it is one last little thing to consider. And that's it. That is the whole sort of basics of the game. These little guys, of course, have their own little movements. I'll go over that in a bit. But those are kind of the big rules, okay? When you start the game, in order to get a bug into the hive, you have to put it next to a friendly tile, right? That's rule number 1. Rule number 2 is you can never strand a bug once moving. All the bugs have to remain connected to the hive somehow, so no stranding bugs. Rule 3, well, that one simply says that in order to move, you must have that freedom of movement, right? If you want to see if you can get out of a space, check to see if you can slide out or not. That only applies to sliding on the table, not to the bugs that can climb on top of the hive, which we'll see. But if you're trying to slide through a hole, check for movement. Last rule, queen needs to be in the hive by your 4th turn, and until she hits the table, the rest of your bugs are locked down. And that's it. Those are all of the basic rules for this game. Crazy simple, crazy fun. I will round up a kid. We'll start playing as usual. I will talk through my strategy for you guys. That's just the way I roll. But stick around. I think you're going to enjoy watching a playthrough of Pocket Edition Hive. All right, as promised, I now have a player. I will be playing white.
I will be playing black.
Black. Okay, so we have our little buggies divided up. We took out the expansions, so we have no ladybugs and no mosquitoes. This is base set Hive only. And to start, we each get to pick a bug. Which bug are you going to start with?
I'm going to start with my beetle bug.
You're going to do beetle bug? Okay, I will do grasshopper. We're going to put them right here for starters, all right? Okay. And they're going to be allowed to touch each other because this is the first move. Beginning, right. So, do you want to go first?
Sure.
Okay.
For my second move, I'm going to put down a spider.
Spider, and it can only touch your own, right? Yep. Okay. I'm going to bring out a beetle bug. Put it down here.
I'm going to...
What do you think?
I'm going to place another beetle.
Another beetle? Okay, do it. Okay. Well, I'm going to bring out my queen bee, and I'm going to tuck her back here, like this. Now you have to bring yours out because this is your fourth move. So now that our queens are on the board, we are allowed to move any bug we want.
As long as it doesn't break the hive.
As long as it doesn't break the hive, but I'm not ready to do that yet. I'm going to bring out an ant. What are you going to do?
I'll put a grasshopper.
Oh, I don't like that grasshopper there. And here's why. All right, so now let's talk about how these bugs move, now that we've got a few on the board. The grasshopper, his special ability is that he hops. But the rule is the grasshopper must hop straight line, and he must pass over another tile. So for example, you couldn't hop him to the side, right? Because there's nothing there. He has to actually go over something. So sitting her grasshopper here, he could hop to this side of the spider.
Yeah.
Or what I think you're probably going to do with him is hop down there and lock in my bee. I don't like the looks of that. So I'm going to move my queen bee. And the queen bee, she's kind of like the king in chess. She can only move one space in any direction. All right, so she can't move very much, but I think in this case, it'll be enough. Okay, it'll be enough, I think. So I think what I'm going to do...
And for the grasshopper, you can't move like that.
Right, so you couldn't jump there because that's not a straight line, right?
Yeah.
You could, if you were sitting where the spider was, you could jump there.
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to roll out my queen bee here. I think I'm going to roll her one spot over. Chunk, and tuck her back there.
I'm going to still jump.
All right, you're going to take that jump?
Yep.
Sounds good to me. And I'm going to... I think I'm going to bring out another ant. What do you think about that?
I'm fine with that.
You're fine with that?
Matter of fact, I think I'm going to bring out another ant.
You're going to bring out an ant too, huh? So let's talk about how these ants work, because ants can be very deadly. The ants are allowed to scurry as far as they want around the edge of the hive. All right? So it's my turn, so I can move my ant into any position I want around the edge of the hive, anywhere I want. There's no limit on the amount of moves it can make. So it's a very powerful little creature. And I'm worried about her little ant being here, because if it scurries down here, you'll see my little buggy is going to be looking very trapped very fast. Not so happy about that. So what I think I'm going to do is, I think I'm going to move my buggy. No. I'm going to lock her ant down. So by going here, she can't move her ant now because she's going to
break the hive.
Break the hive. She also can't move her
Queen bee.
Queen bee, because it will break the
hive.
hive. So by moving here, I've locked her ant, so I don't have to worry about it scurrying around behind me. And I've locked her queen, so I can kind of start to target it. So that's what I'm going to do, kid. What are you going to do?
I'm going to place another ant.
Ah, this is another ant. Okay, another ant? Are you sure?
Yes.
Think it through. I don't think you want to do that.
I thought through.
Darn it. Okay. I'm going to go for I'm going to take a spider into play, and because I'm only touching my own, I'm going to stick it down here. And let's, since we appear to be building this way, let's slide this whole thing here. Look at that, I did it without breaking the hive. All right.
My turn.
Yeah.
I really want to trap your bee for some weird apparent reason.
Yeah, I don't know why you want to do that. That's a really bad move. Okay, so let's talk about spiders. How do they move, all right? Spiders are, I think, one of the hardest to play with. Would you agree?
Yeah, probably.
They can only move 3 spaces, and it has to be exactly 3 spaces. So, for instance, I can move my spider 1, 2, 3. Or I can go the other way with him. 1, 2, 3. Okay? So I think I'm going to do that.
Okay.
Exactly 3 spaces for my spider.
Well, I'm feeling very
Confident?
grasshoppery.
Okay, so you're going to stick a hopper down there. And I see what you're going to do. You're going to try and hop into that space, aren't you?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. So we've done the ant, we've done the... Oh, we haven't talked about how the beetle moves yet, have we?
Not yet.
So let me show you how the beetle moves. Although, it's not a very wise move on my part. But at least I can show them how the beetle works. Maybe. I think I should. Okay, okay. Okay, well, I'm afraid if I do that, I'm going to die. So I'm going to take my ant, and I'm going to slide my ant over here.
Think wise.
I know, you're going to hop over there. Ah! Okay, but I'm not going to panic yet, because I have a plan. I have a plan. So I would love to get my grasshopper around here. In order to hop into this space, though, I would have to line my grasshopper up here, and I'm not allowed to do that, right?
Yep.
Because I would be touching you.
So you're going to show us how the beetle works?
I might just have to. Actually, first, I'm going to get another spider down. I liked putting that spider there.
I'm just going to say something.
Yeah.
1.
I was going to go the other direction.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. 1, 2. 1, 2, 3.
Okay. I'm just gonna show you that was
Thanks. Thanks for warning me, kid.
very, good.
Okay. What are you going to do? No, I can't touch me. You're going to go there.
Wait.
Yeah, you want to go right there. Because then you have your choice of hop. Yeah, that's a good move. I'm going to spin out my spider now. 1, 2, 3.
I have a question.
Yes.
How far? No, okay. I'm gonna take this one.
Ah, you stinker. Okay, so the reason you did that was because
She could have won.
I would have won, right? I would have scurried my ant right into that hole. Right into that hole. So that was a very good defensive play. Unfortunately, I still have an ant left.
Fortunately, me too.
But I don't think you're going to be able to activate yours in time. So I'm going to put my ant out here. I don't think you're going to be able to stop it. Can you? Can you stop it?
I have a question.
Yeah. What are you going to do?
Can my darn. I'm just looking at options right now.
So you can't move your bee out, right? Because she's locked in there. She doesn't, even though there's a space, you can't roll her out.
Looking, I'm looking. That's just gonna hop to there.
That's just gonna hop there. Do you see a way out?
This
Do you see something hop there?
I do see a way out.
You do? What is it?
Yes.
What?
I'm pretty sure that I know the way to win.
What? Ah, you're gonna sacrifice.
Yes.
Good game.
Win.
Okay, well we didn't show them beetle, so you want to try one more? Because I didn't get to move my beetle. You want a rematch?
Sure.
Okay, so we surrounded
Might be.
Black Beetle. You just suicided. There's nothing wrong with that. Nothing wrong with suicide.
Yeah.
Let's set up for another game.
There's nothing wrong with suicide.
Okay, who are you gonna put down first?
I like to start with the spider.
Spider. Okay, I'm gonna answer with a hopper. All right.
Then I'm gonna do my beetlebug.
Beetlebug. I'm gonna go with a. I like those ants. I just think the ants are very handy to have.
Interesting. Well, I do too.
You do too? All right. Okay, my defensive wedge. I'm gonna put my little. Do I want to do that though?
Don't ask me.
Okay. Okay, I'll do this. I'll do this. You gonna bring yours out?
I like doing it slanted.
Okay. Well, I'm gonna try and lock yours down now, because mine was out. I can move this. I'm gonna put that there, so hopefully. Ah, you stinker. Okay, so we are pretty much locked at this point. Okay, so let me get a beetle out, because I want to make sure
That you can.
I can show you the beetle's ability.
Okay. That's good.
Okay.
I'm looking at my choices. That's not the best place to show them a beetle.
Ah, that's okay. I'm good with it.
Okay. I'm gonna put my thing
Right there. Okay, so let me show you how beetle activates. No,
do
change
this.
mine. I'm gonna go for grasshopper.
Yeah.
Okay. So the way beetle works is the beetle has the ability to climb on top of the hive. All right. So on the beetle's turn, you can put them on top. And here's the rules, all right? 1 second. When the beetle is on top of a tile, that tile down below can't move. All right? It's locked in there.
And if the tile is black, say, it turns white.
That's right. So when it comes time to deploy your insects, this is now considered a white tile. So I could put that straight down there. So the beetle bug not only locks down the tile, it also changes the color of the tile. But it moves very slow because it can only move one at a time.
Also, if you didn't want that, you can always just go.
That's right. The beetle bug can also drop back down. So if you have a hole that like an ant can't scurry into, a beetle bug can walk across the top of the hive and drop into the hole.
Yeah.
So they're pretty cool, but they're not real fast. Okay, go for it, kid. Okay. So I'm going to try this. I'm going to sit right on top of her queen and change that to a white tile.
Okay. I hope that you go down where I really want you to go down.
Okay, I'll see what I can do for you, kid.
Thank you.
Here's the problem though. It takes a lot of time to do this. So I can now deploy an ant here. Yikes, I don't know if I'm gonna have enough time. I'm gonna deploy a spider. Yeah, it's not a... Here.
You made a really bad mistake.
What did I do?
I was scared that you were going to do it because you could just...
Oh, I should have, you're right. I should have swung my bee out.
Yep.
Can I take my turn back?
No!
Darn it! I should have swung. I wasn't paying attention to defense, and now I'm going to pay. No, I'm not. I still have a turn. Thank you for telling me. Oh, you're such a great kid.
Oh, you're evil!
Thank you for telling me. Thank you for telling me. That's a great move.
You cheater. Now you can't do it.
Why not?
You can't do it because you didn't see it. I told you.
I didn't see it. You're right.
So you can't do it.
What's your turn?
You can't do it. You cheater.
Okay, I won't do it, but I should because you've got me surrounded. I'm gonna die if I don't, though.
Yeah, but you didn't see it.
I know, but
You didn't see it until I pointed it out.
I know, but if I don't,
no, cheater.
Huh.
Cheater.
Okay.
I declare you're a
Okay,
cheater.
I won't, but I really should move it. Yikes. Okay.
I'm very sorry.
Okay, now I'm gonna hop over everybody in a straight line.
I'm gonna show you some more, Beetle.
I know.
I want to make life harder for you.
I knew you were gonna do that, you little bugaboo. Okay. Okay. I'm going to, I think you're gonna beat me on this one. Drop my beetle down here. Bink. Drop your beetle there. Yes, you're gonna beat me to it, aren't you?
Next turn.
Next turn. Okay, put him back up. It's not next turn yet. I'm going to deploy my ant, but it's too late. You win. You win by 1.
You didn't see.
I didn't see it. I didn't see it. That's why you've got to look closely. Anyway, so it's a really quick, simple game. That is how all of the little buggies move. It's not that hard, right?
Yeah.
And so you can play a couple of these games together. And just try different tactics. Try putting out different bugs first, playing around, seeing which powers or abilities you like. The ants are the easiest to lock down, but they also have the highest movement. I think the beetles can be particularly deadly.
Also what sometimes I do with my mom is we're futzing around and like we both put down a beetle. Like it would be something like this and then we put, or no, it would be like this, and then you would put down another beetle, then you would top it on top of here, and then
yeah, that's an interesting point.
I would pop on top of
top of that,
and then like
so you can end up with a stack of beetles that look, and they've all basically locked each other down, so the beetles keep stacking up and freezing each other, right? The best way to block the beetle, if you see a beetle come up top and it's heading for your queen, the best way to stop the beetle is once it goes past you, you stand on it, right?
Yeah.
So you end up with these funny little beetle stacks. But there's a lot of cool strategy in this game, right?
Yeah, and also when it's that high.
Yeah, you can still jump it.
And I actually like trying to make a stack because I love just topping my thing so high.
Do you? You like this game though, right?
Yeah.
It's a fun game. And you win quite a bit, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah, you do. Especially when you help your old mom out. Yeah. Okay, well that's it. That's Hive. Pocket Edition Hive. It's a fun little game. It's quick, it's easy, it's portable, and it's clearly kid friendly. So enjoy.